Think about the device you're actually watching this on. It could be your phone, your tablet, your computer, I don't know, whatever it is you're watching on. You spend a serious amount of money on it, right? I mean, it's there in your hands. It feels solid, tangible, it feels real. It feels like it's yours, isn't it? I mean, it is, right? Well, probably not in the way you think, because the very foundation of what it means to own something is being quietly and systematically dismantled right underneath our noses. Think about what true ownership feels like. It's like that old family car where you can actually pop the hood and get your hands dirty. It's like a piece of furniture you can sand down and give new life to without asking permission from somebody. It's like a house that you can tear down a wall, install a new light fixture, or hire a plumber that you trust to fix a leak. Real ownership means control, the freedom to use, to modify, and most critically, to repair the things you've spent your hard-earned money on. But there's a new weird strategy cooked up in the boardrooms of some of the biggest tech and auto giants, and it's turning the idea of ownership into a distant memory. It's not even like a real thing anymore. They're creating a world where the products you buy are never truly yours. What if a manufacturer could just flip a hidden software switch and make your device worse, or lock you out of features that you were sure you paid for? This isn't a glitch. This is something businesses are doing on purpose. It's a deliberate tactic called parts pairing, and it's how your favorite gadgets are being bricked by design. Some of the worst examples are parked in our own driveways. The auto industry has decided that your car isn't just a car, it's a platform for endless monthly fees. A smartphone on wheels designed to bleed you dry long after you've driven off the lot. Remember a few years back when BMW tried to charge $18 a month just for heated seats? I love my heated seats in my car, but when I bought the car, I got the heated seats. I didn't have to pay anything else. The hardware, the heating coils, the buttons, the wiring, it's all physically installed in the cars. If you were a BMW owner and you actually wanted to feel that warmth, you had to pay a monthly ransom. This is wild. I know not everyone's a BMW owner, but this is crazy. The internet backlash was so fierce that BMW, eventually they had to back down, but they weren't just testing a feature. They were testing our psychology. They were banking on the subscription fatigue, the idea that we're so conditioned by monthly fees for everything that we'll just sigh and accept one more. It's a conditioning tool to make us forget we were already paying for the hardware, and we've already paid that bill. But that was just them testing the waters. The trend is literally accelerating. Mercedes now sells an acceleration increase subscription for its electric EQ cars.
Mercedes has come up with a plan to make even more money from Benz owners. It's called an acceleration increase.
For up to $90 a month, or nearly $1,000 a year, they will send software to unlock horsepower that is already built into the car. It can shave a full second off its 0 to 60 time, but you bought all the hardware already, the motor, the battery, the inverters. You're just renting the full potential. It's like paying for gems to speed up the timer in Clash of Clans, except the timer is on a $50,000 car that you supposedly own. Now, the skeptic might argue, well, this lowers the upfront cost and I only pay for what I use. That's the sales pitch, but it crumbles under the slightest scrutiny. The cost of that high-performance hardware is already baked into the car's sticker price. You're not paying for it whether you subscribe or not, you've already paid for it. This isn't giving you a discount, it's about leveraging the sunk cost of the car itself and have you pay twice. A 2023 study by Cox Automotive found that consumer awareness of these features on demand is actually really low, and 69% of the people said they would shop for another brand if features were locked behind a subscription. That shouldn't be a surprise. That just makes sense. And it's not just luxury brands. GM, Toyota, Stellantis, and others have all experimented with subscriptions for things as basic as remote start functionality. My car actually has something similar to that as well. I can remotely start it with a button, but I can get an app and start it from like really far away, but I have to pay for that. People are actually getting wise about this. Consumers understand this. Data from S&P Global Mobility showed that the number of people willing to pay for these connected services has dropped, with one report indicating a decline from 86% in 2024 to 68% in 2025. So basically, less people paying up front. And it's a massive dip in just 1 year. This is the future they're trying to build though. One where your car in your driveway is actually held hostage by a dozen different paywalls. And the true performance only belongs to those who are willing to pay the monthly fee. So how do they actually lock us out of our own property? Well, it's done through a devious and destructive practice called parts pairing. Think of it like this. Imagine a light bulb in your new smart lamp burns out. Then you go to the store, you buy a new bulb for the exact same brand, screw it in, and then nothing happens. A message pops up on a tiny screen and says, unauthorized bulb. Why? Because the lamp software doesn't recognize the new bulb's unique serial number. It refuses to function until an authorized tenant of the company's ecosystem comes to the house, plugs in a special tablet, and digitally pairs it to a new bulb for a fee. This is kind of an extreme example, but you kind of understand what I'm saying. The new system is designed to replace competence with permission. Think of your grandfather's garage, a place of real skill, where knowledge of the machine was all you needed. Now you can be the most skilled technician in the world, but without the company's blessing, you're just a trespasser on your own device. Manufacturers use software to create digital handshakes between the major components, like a screen, the camera, the battery, and the device's logic board. If you swap that part out, even with an identical genuine part from another device of the same exact model, the software can reject it, killing features or even turning the whole thing into a paperweight. Apple has absolutely mastered this art. For years, independent repair shops have documented how replacing a genuine iPhone screen can disable features like True Tone. And more recently, swapping parts in an iPhone 15 has been a nightmare. Even a genuine screen from another iPhone 15, 16, or whatever can trigger warnings and disable functionality. On some iPads, replacing a screen with one from an identical model can cause the Apple Pencil to lose its ability to draw straight lines, rendering it useless for artists. But you know who could fix it for you, of course. Now, this is where we have to address the manufacturer's argument. Apple and others claim this is all for your security and privacy. They argue that parts pairing, especially with components like Face ID and Touch ID, ensures that malicious third-party parts can't be used to steal your data. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. I mean, no one wants their biometrics compromised. But that argument falls apart real fast. I mean, first of all, this security measure that also blocks genuine Apple parts from taking it from a donor phone that are practically functionally identical, they impose zero security risk, all of a sudden don't work? This isn't faulty part stuff. It's nothing like that. It's about controlling the repair market. And second, critics argue that this is a smokescreen for creating a repair monopoly. It forces you to go back to the expensive service centers because your competence is really irrelevant. You're not a customer with a problem. You're like a tenant asking the landlord for permission to fix a faucet. And this isn't just an Apple problem. I mean, it's everywhere, really. In a 2024 leak, a contract revealed that Samsung requires independent repair shops to send them the name, address, and phone number of customers for every repair. The contract also allegedly demanded that shops must immediately disassemble phones if they find third-party parts inside and snitch on their customers to Samsung. I bet you didn't know that. This level of aggressive control obliterates the markets for refurbished parts, it drives up costs, and makes it nearly impossible for you to truly own your property. This trend extends way beyond our phones and into our heartland. For years, John Deere, you know, the tractor people, have been in a brutal war with farmers over the right to fix their own equipment. This is something I didn't know. A farmer can own $1 million combine harvester, but if one tiny, inexpensive sensor fails during the critical harvest season, they can't replace it. They have to wait, sometimes days, for an authorized technician with a special laptop to show up, plug in, and authorize the new part. That downtime can mean lost crops and devastating financial losses. The situation got so bad that in early 2025, the FTC sued John Deere, alleging it had created an illegal monopoly over the repair market for its equipment. A judge rejected Deere's attempt to dismiss the case, setting the stage for the trial in 2026 that could fundamentally change the industry. But it's not all doom and gloom. A powerful global counter movement called the Right to Repair is fighting for one simple fundamental idea. If you own it, you should have the right to fix it. And they're starting to score massive wins. States like New York and California have passed broad right to repair laws. And more importantly, in 2024, Oregon passed a landmark bill that is the first in the US to specifically ban the practice of parts pairing. The law, which applies to new devices made after January 1st of 2025, forces manufacturers to make the necessary tools, guides, and parts available to everyone, not just their authorized agents. This is a huge step, directly targeting the abusive software locks we've been talking about. And it's not just Oregon. A wave of other states are considering similar legislation. The movement is global too. The European Union finalized a sweeping right to repair directive back in 2024, which will become law across all member states by the mid of this year. These rules will require companies to offer repairs after the warranty is up and ensure parts are available for years at a fair price. And if a customer opts for a repair during their warranty period, that warranty gets extended for another year. And this is a legislative tidal wave aimed at tearing down the digital walls companies have built around their products for years. And it's so good to see. In direct response to this, Apple announced in 2024 that it would begin allowing the use of some used genuine parts the iPhone 15 repairs, and along with the iPhone 16, and they've mostly reportedly eliminated parts pairing for most modules, and it's a direct result of the Oregon law that went into effect last year. But don't think for a minute that Apple would have done that without that. So where does this leave us? Listen, this fight isn't even close to being over. The first and most powerful thing you can do is vote with your wallet. Support companies that actively embrace repair and modular design. Look at Framework with its super repairable laptops where every single component is user replaceable. irreplaceable. Or Patagonia, which repairs its gear for a reasonable fee. By choosing these brands, you send a clear message to the market. We demand ownership, longevity, and repairability. Second, make your voice heard. Find out where your local, state, and federal representatives stand on right to repair. Support advocacy groups like the PIRG, the EFF, and iFixit, who are at the front lines of this legislative battle. Let lawmakers know that you believe you should be able to fix the things you paid for. And this isn't just about like a cracked iPhone screen or faulty tractor sensor. This is a battle over the very definition of ownership in the 21st century. It's about pushing back against a future where everything is rented, leased, subscribed to, and nothing is ever truly yours. It's about preventing a world where a company can reach into your home, or into your car, or into your pocket to disable something you've already paid for. The device in your hand belongs to you. You bought it. And let's make sure you, me, we, and not the corporations, get to decide what that actually means. If you like content like this, I got more on the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next one.